I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, and I feel like I have been playing into vices instead of playing into, you know, being a victor over my situation and really finding out what works for me, what's truly sustainable.
Drop a hot 16, ain't shit sweet. Real bad bitch, they ain't fucking with me. It's a real nigga speaking, stand to your feet.
Hey honey, it's your girl Asia J, and welcome back to Brown Honey TV. If it's your first time here, make sure you give me a little subscribe below, and if it's not your first time here, welcome back home, honey. It has officially been a year and a half since I had weight loss surgery. If you didn't know, I had the duodenal switch. That's a combination of the sleeve and the gastric bypass. I know, sounds extreme, and honey, it is. We got a lot to talk about, so let me throw some eyebrows on first, and then we can get into it. Where do I start? Let's start with the truth. Truth is, I'm tired. Truth is, I've gotten comfortable. Too comfortable, to be completely honest. The thing about weight loss surgery is we know it's not a quick fix. We know it's not boom, you have the surgery and you just lose all this weight, but it kind of does feel that way because the results happen so fast. It's been a year and a half and I've lost 216 pounds from my surgery weight. 216 pounds in a year and a half. That is a huge shocker, and that's on top of plus the 86 pounds I lost before I laid on the table. So if you add all that up, honey, plus a cute face, a new little waist, and some booty cheeks that I never had before, trouble, trouble, trouble. Oftentimes people ask me, and please don't look at my beard, I'm gonna get waxed soon, I promise. I got hormone problems. Oftentimes people ask me, like, what made you have the duodenal switch over all the other surgeries? Because I know me, okay? I know me, and I know my bad habits, and I know my truth, okay? I used to be a drive-through warrior, okay? Spinning around that McDonald's drive-through real bad, and I'm still in the window. Okay, I just get a little kid's meal now instead of what I used to do, which was, if you know my order, you know my order. I used to get a spicy McChicken meal with an extra McChicken and a large fry and a large drink. And sometimes a nug, too. Yes. Gluttony. So I knew that I needed to get a tool in place that would really keep me on track. But the truth is, even that could of course be used and abused. I'm not proud to admit this, but I've thrown up a couple times because I've overeaten. And overeating now looks very different from what overeating looked like when I was 538 pounds. It seems like before I could overeat and just keep going, be a Hoover Dam, just hoover it all up. Now if I overeat, I literally am hurting myself, okay? I am bringing physical pain to myself, and why would I do that to me? It's a disconnect. And honey, don't get me wrong, like, no, I'm not sitting there doing it on purpose, but weight loss surgery is like a Tootsie Pop, okay? One extra lick could literally take you over the edge, okay? And sometimes I pushed it a little close, especially because I be breaking cardinal rule number 1, especially when it comes to weight loss surgery. I be eating and drinking at the same time. Yeah, I eat and I drink at the same time. And in the beginning, you know, Genesis 1:1, okay, weight loss surgery 101, I used to be so adamant about not drinking and eating at the same time, but old habits die hard. While this tool has absolutely been a blessing to me, it also can be a false sense of security. You will think that, oh no, I won't gain the weight again because I had the most extreme weight loss surgery. But no, you can teeter-totter on that scale just like anyone else. You know, they tell you to stay away from sugars and stay away from certain foods, but you know, you'll be like, well, you know, I'm gonna burn it off anyways. I'm not gonna absorb it anyway. So you tell yourself that you can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then you realize you didn't eat anything that was actually good for you. A common struggle post-weight loss surgery is hair loss, and part of that, in my opinion, is the shock of the anesthesia, but part 2 is of course what we all know it to be, is a vitamin and a protein deficiency. And lately I've been frustrated with myself because while my hair definitely is not coming out in the big chunks that it used to, because y'all know I was getting to be a bald-headed scallywag, okay? No hair in the back and no hair in the front. But I've been frustrated with myself because I'm like, how do I prioritize all these other things in my life? Which, what do I prioritize? I don't really know. I need to evaluate that with a lady. But I can prioritize all these other things in my life, but I can't prioritize protein. I can't prioritize just drinking a fucking protein shake. 3 protein shakes today, at least getting 60 grams in, because I'm supposed to get between 80 to 100 grams in. Why can't I do that? It's something so simple. I can spend money on all these other things, but when it comes to buying a case of shakes, it's like, oh my God, they're so high. So what? But I have gotten better. One thing I'm so big on these days is creating a routine for myself, because my truth is, even when it comes down to my vitamins, if I'm off my routine, baby, it's as if it never existed. If I go out of town, honey, I'll be out shaking my ass in them streets, forget my whole vitamins. And I bring them with me and I still am not taking them. But as long as I'm sticking to the same schedule of getting my ass up about 6:30 in the morning, going to work, going into the office, drinking a protein shake on my way to work, I'm good. But the moment something, and I mean the smallest thing in that routine changes, it's as if it never existed. And to be honest, it's so disappointing, not because I'm living like a facade and not because of any of that, but because I worked so hard to come this far, but it's like I'm not doing what I need to do to not just survive in this new season of my life, but to thrive. And that's the downside of destination happiness, which I don't feel like consciously I felt that way about losing weight. Like, okay, once I lose weight, everything's gonna get better. Listen, I've went through destination happiness too many times before to not retain the lesson that it is not the destination that is going to make you happy. It is everything you do alongside the journey that's going to make you happy and allow you to sustain happiness and find joy even when true happiness may not be present for you. So I know, you know, consciously I didn't feel like, okay, once I lose weight, everything's going to get better. The reality is so many things did get better once I lost weight. My mobility, my sleep apnea, just navigating the world, dressing, just so many things. And I know sometimes we don't want to hear it, but it's like, yeah, things do get better when you lose weight, but it's like better in which spectrum, right? If I had to rank everything, of course, all the good still outweighs the bad. But if you are not maintaining and doing the things that needs to be done, this can lead to a rapid decline. And one area this is commonly seen is the iron. Your iron getting so low and you're not really being able to maintain iron that you wind up having to get transfusions. And me personally, I watched my mom doing that growing up. I want to try to avoid that. So I am taking additional iron supplements on top of my high multivitamin A, E, D, and K with iron. So I take those twice a day, and then I'm taking 2 additional pieces of iron a day to bring back some of the hair that I lost. Even though, but you can tell by my chin, I shouldn't need no help in that damn area because this chin hair ain't stopped damn growing in, okay? It ain't stopped growing in. But I do take a hair, nails, and skin vitamin twice a day as well. But the realities are the realities, honey, and doing it once a day, every other day isn't enough. It's something that you have to be committed to and you have to be consistent with, just like maintaining your relationships and other potential downfalls when it comes to weight loss surgery. And one that I'm super candid about, and I talked about it a lot in my second to last video, is alcohol. You know, I'm not one to think that I am above certain things. You know, some shit I am better than, I don't got no business dabbling in, but certain things are definitely applicable to happen to me, like transfer addiction. Last month, the month of August, I told myself that I was going to fast the whole month from all my vices. You know, I told myself hookah, I told myself sex, I told myself oud, I told myself alcohol, of course. And baby, I went probably about 4 days without hookah. Then I was like, okay, I'm just going to have this hookah. Then in total, without drinking and without puffing and without hokey pokey, I went 18 days. And I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in myself because the way I so easily folded, you know what I mean, in all aspects or whatever. And maybe a man will be your downfall, bitch. We're gonna talk about it another time. But I can't even blame the man, honey, because 1, he didn't know, and 2, those are promises that I made to myself, so I should have kept them to myself and lived in them. But I didn't, and instead I gave into flesh, lust, and gluttony, okay? I started back drinking. I started back smoking, and while I have not purchased any oud or whatever, like of my own to really have around and just do on the whoop-de-doo, I still have been hitting it. But sometimes flesh wins, okay? Sometimes she's when she's strong, but I need to be stronger. Spirit needs to be stronger, okay? And since then, like, I don't feel like I have, like, excessively drank. Like, before I was literally drinking, having a cocktail like at least every other day at home. Like, maybe not a full-blown huge, you know, cacamonga drink, but I was drinking in a way that it was no longer social drinking. It kind of was because people would be around me, but it was in a way that it made me nervous. It made me really nervous. And like I said, I'm not above transfer addiction. Transfer addiction can happen to anybody. Even if you think you have a good relationship with something, sometimes our relationships with things change, and especially based on what's happening in your life. And I feel like I've genuinely been in a season where, baby, when I say there has been so much going on with me behind the scenes, and I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, and I feel like I have been playing into vices instead of playing into, you know, being a victor over my situation and really finding out what works for me, what's truly sustainable. And the thing about it is, I know what I need to do to get back on track, but it's like, why don't we want to do it? Why don't we want to make it easier for ourselves? Why do we want to make it harder for ourselves? Honey, that gotta be called something. But I think for me, therapy is needed, and I know that. I've been knowing that. You know, I've toggled in and out of therapy as it relates to grief counseling and different things like that. But honey, I don't really know who I am anymore. This version of myself is a version that I've never met. And if you watch me long enough, you'll be like, girl, you say that often. And some of y'all really can relate, and some of y'all can. And I'm happy if you cannot relate to being 29 years old and thinking you got it all figured out and realizing you don't know a damn thing. I'm pretty sure I want to start with some group sessions. I feel like it would take a little bit of pressure off of me. I've definitely been in therapy before, but I gotta be real and say, if I can bamboozle my therapist, and not that I was in there lying, but I was kind of omitting a little bit, not being as forthcoming about certain things that I should have been. And I don't know if my therapist was just kind of giving me the chance to keep opening up, but girl, after a while, when you don't crack the code on me, I'm like, do you know what you're doing for real? Because how can I fool you? And you supposed to be the finder-outer. And honey, I already know what you're saying. I can hear you now. AJ, you shouldn't go in there with the goal of fooling your therapist. You think I went in there paying that lady all that money on to try to fool her? No, okay? I guess I'll be trying to fool my damn self into thinking that I'm better than I really am about certain things. And that's just really what the truth is. Once you start working on certain parts of yourself and you start unlocking some of them chakras, baby, you forced to deal with the fallout of how you feel after you get off of that 60-minute call. And truth is, honey, I just have not been in a space to deal with it. And I felt that way for years, honestly speaking. And it's like, Asia, are you ever gonna get to the space if you don't try to get in the space? Like, what do you want to do to get there? What are you doing to get there? And I can admit that I have not been fully taking advantage of all of my resources and everything that is available to me. I told y'all last video that, okay, I'm about to try to get consistent on my Wellbutrin again. That's the antidepressant that I was on. But I feel like now it's more important than ever that I get back on it and that I stay consistent. Not just because of the mental health aspect of it all, but anybody that's been on Wellbutrin, you know, that thing's an appetite suppressant too. So before I run to like Zimpy or somebody to get me some regulation and some self-control again, how about I try an antidepressant? And maybe my antidepressant will not only just give me the, you know, antidepressant aspect of it, but also the appetite suppressant of it all, and help me get back on track. And maybe those highs and not so many lows will help me sustain and maintain. But honey, I don't want you to be concerned, okay? I'm not having any ideations or anything like that. I'm just genuinely in a space where I'm ready to heal. And for me, healing starts with truth. Just like my weight loss journey started with truth, me being honest about my habits. I have to be honest, and I promise you, it's not a humiliation ritual. I just like to keep it real with y'all, and I can't hide it. You know what I mean? If I have these big feelings going on behind the camera, I'm not able to be myself in front of the camera. I'm not able to talk about what's really happening in my life. And you know, this is called Brown Honey TV, but it's not a show. It's my real life, and I appreciate the community and the support that I'm able to get out of you guys, and I'm so incredibly thankful. I can already imagine the comments under this video, people reminding me that I'm not alone in this, that, you know, the things that I'm feeling are very normal, especially considering going through all of this so very alone. You know, it's been 3 years since my mom passed, and I feel like this part of the year, because she passed in August, is always just a tough part of the year anyways. Then you have the holidays coming up, and then you got a whole new year going through. Then you got Valentine's Day, my love. Then you have March, my birthday. April, her birthday. Then you have Mother's Day. Then I try to have a good summer, wilding out, and then I just run back into this same cycle over and over again. So I know that probably made it even more concerning to you all, but I don't want you to be concerned about me. I do want you to hold me accountable. Continue to ask me, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. If my ass ain't been back to the gym, because look, last month I had a bunch of high energy and I got my ass back in that gym, and now I ain't been back to the gym in a month, okay? Planet Fitness is just taking my damn lunch money, which is like double lunch money because the membership like $20-something a month. They taking a lot of money on from me, and I ain't been using them and have no money on, so I need to get back in there too, okay? If you want to be my walking buddy, my accountability buddy, hit me up, because I was trying to go back in that gym and go crazy, okay? Like I had Lynn, my trainer, again, and it was just me, and maybe I got a little frustrated, or maybe I just got fucking lazy. Sometimes you ain't frustrated. Sometimes, bitch, you're lazy, and you just gotta admit that. So I got lazy. And I'm trying to unlaze my ass and pump it back up. I literally worked my way up to getting on the Stairmaster for 30 minutes. Now, I'm probably gonna look at that motherfucker for 30 seconds and gonna turn around. So what does all this mean? Do I recommend weight loss surgery? Do I recommend the duodenal switch? It's been a year and a half. Are you still happy with your decision? Yes, 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 and yes. I just recommend all of this with therapy along the whole way. This journey is so easy to get wrapped up in the results and get super comfortable that you get out of the reality of that you have done something life altering to your body, and not just because you're gonna lose weight, but because you physically change your anatomy. Okay, baby, when I say my bladder is weakest, she's definitely strengthened back up. But honey, if I even think about TT too long, I might TT on myself, and I have. Okay, I've done it a couple times. So you add that with some alcohol that's gonna run through you, okay, because it ain't nothing in alcohol to absorb and maintain. Yeah, let's just say I've had to keep it cute and put it on mute before. And I've already talked to y'all enough about that wretched number 2, okay? But that's based on what I eat. The better I eat, the better it is. So you can pick your poison with that one. This shit stinks. Overall, honey, if you think weight loss surgery is where the journey ends, I'm here to let you know that it's just where it begins. I can't tell you that once I end this video and I post it, that everything's just going to get better and I'm going to be consistently on my antidepressant, back in the gym, and up my protein levels. I can't tell you all of that, but I can tell you that I'm going to try. I'm going to put my best foot forward, as I always try to do throughout this journey, but even more this time, because I've spilled all my tea, and I know y'all gonna hold your girl accountable because you want what's best for me too. I hope you enjoyed this video, honey, enjoying this chit chat, watching me do my makeup routine. I got some things to do. I gotta go figure out which wig I'm gonna wear. But anywho, honey, I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Look me in my eyes when you speak to me. Real boss bitch, got my own shit. Love a nigga dick, but that's about it. Brown skin, honey, reppin' murder mid. Fam on my back, I ain't losing for shit. First, not the last, to be this lit. Fuck the moolah, if it can't be split. Next up, get used to it. When you hear brown honey, you know it's me, bitch.